Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Jai Radhe, Jai Krishna, Jai Vrindavan, Shri Govinda Gopinath Madana Mohan. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari. Jai Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra ki, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, श्री श्री पद्मावती वेंकटेश्वर बालाजी की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, समावेत गौर भक्त वृंद की, कलियुग पावन हरिनाम की, निरंतरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की। पावर कार्ड करना है ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुः उन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नैषामतिस्तावदुरुक्रमाङ्ग्र्यं स्पृशत्यनर्था पगमो यदर्थः महीयसां पादरजोऽभिषेकम् निष्किञ्चनानां न वृणीत यावत् नैषां मतिस्तावदुरुक्रमाङ्घ्रिं स्पृशत्यनर्था पदमो यदर्थः महीयसां पादरजोऽभिषेकम् निष्किञ्चनानां न वृणीत यावत्। All Prabhujis together can recite.
Naisham matistavadurukramanghrim sprishatyanartha pagamo yadartaha mahiyasam padarajobhishekam nishkintananam navrinitayavat. All Matajis together. So this was yesterday's verse, but a very important verse, therefore I am reciting again. Let us read the translation. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki. Unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava completely freed from material contamination, persons very much inclined towards materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, in this way, can one be freed from material contamination. Briefly, what it means is, there are two types of people. One who is very materialistic, and another one is a pure devotee. The pure devotee constantly delights in Supreme Lord's service. And the materialistic person, he is always absorbed in material delights, which are called the glitter and glamour of this world. And which is temporary, which is perishable, which is here today, will be gone tomorrow. They always delight in that kshanik sukha, gramya buddhi, we say. It's materialistic mindset, makes them think this material world is everything. So these are two types of people. So this materialistic person, unless he gets the association of pure devotees, who are constantly engaged in Lord's service, only then there is some hope for this materialistic person to become a devotee. That's the meaning he says. Why so? Can't one approach Lord Krishna directly? Like you all know the famous verse which we say, if you water the root of the tree, the whole tree gets nourished. But how do you water the root of the tree? Do you take the tree out and pour water? You cannot approach the root because you can't see the root. Similarly, Krishna is not easily visible to the mundane eyes, unless our eyes are tinged with salve of love. Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochana, isn't it? Then without seeing Krishna, how are you going to water Krishna so that all universe will be satisfied? So we have to water the root of the tree through the sand, which is embracing the tree. So that sand is the pure devotees whose hearts are embracing Krishna's lotus feet. So if you serve them, then the service rendered to a pure devotee in Guru Parampara reaches Krishna. And then everything will be achieved. So therefore, in those days, His Holiness Gaur Krishna Maharaj came to Pune. So one time he told me to make a poster. When he came, he said, Bhakta Anugraha, is followed by Bhagavad Anugraha. Bhagavat's Anugraha comes first, and then Bhagavan Anugraha comes. So he had given some title to that effect. He said, the mercy of the Lord follows like a shadow the mercy of a devotee. That is the meaning. Like Narada first showed mercy to Nalakur Manigrave by making them trees. And then Krishna's mercy followed, breaking of the Tamalarjuna trees and then delivering them. Correct? Like that. That's what is said here. So, this is Prahlada telling his father, Hiranyakashipu. Prabhupada is saying the material body is the basic principle of unwanted miserable conditions, anarthas. The entire Vedic civilization is meant to relieve one from these unwanted miseries. But persons bound by the laws of nature do not know the destination of life. They don't know how to get out of suffering, and they don't know the goal of life. Both they don't know. They are conditioned by the three strong modes of material nature. Ishatantriyam, Urdam Nibaddha. The education that keeps the conditioned soul bound life after life is called materialistic education. Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur has explained that materialistic education expands the influence of Maya. Such an education induces the conditioned soul to be increasingly attracted to materialistic life and to stray further and further away from liberation from unwanted miseries. Then Prabhupada is saying, somebody may ask, why even highly educated persons don't take to Krishna consciousness? The reason is, unless one takes shelter of a bona fide, fully Krishna conscious spiritual master, there is no chance of understanding Krishna. Educators, scholars, political leaders, and all these fellows, they may be worshipped by millions of followers, but they cannot understand the goal of life because they have not accepted a bona fide guru and the Vedas. Ayam atma pravachnena labhyo na medhyana bahuna shrutena ammeva vrinute tena labhya. So Prabhupada is quoting that. One cannot become self-realized simply by having an academic education and by presenting lectures in an erudite way, pravachana labhya, or by being an intelligent scientist and discover wonderful things. So first one must understand how to get out of the clutches. First one should take shelter of a pure devotee, find out how to get out of the clutches of Maya, and become Krishna conscious. In this way, one can become a realized soul. And then one should become a Mahatma oneself, he says. And then all good qualities will come in a person, Prabhupada is saying. So, first is taking shelter of a self-realized spiritual master, not a materially educated scholar, like that he said. So, when Prahlad said this, how did his father respond? Ityukto paratam putram Ityuktvo paratam putram Hiranyakashipu rusha Andikritatma svotsangan Nirasyata mahitale. After Prahlad had spoken in this way and had become silent, Hiranyakashipu, blinded by anger, threw him off his lap and onto the ground. Aha marsharushavishtaha kashayi bhutalochanaha vadyatam asu ayam vadyo nisarayata nairritaha. Indignant and angry, his reddish eyes like molten copper, Hiranyakashipu said to his servants, "O dear ones, take this boy away from me. He deserves to be killed. Kill him as soon as possible." Like that he said. Who? Hiranyakashipu. Ayam me bhratriha soyam hitva swan suhrido adamaha pitavya hantu padau yo Vishnur dasavadarchati. This boy, Prahlad, is a killer of my brother, for he has given up his family to engage in the devotional service of the enemy, Lord Vishnu, like a menial servant. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki. Hiranyakashipu considered his son Prahlada Maharaj to be the killer of his brother because Prahlada Maharaj was engaged in the devotional service of Lord Vishnu. In other words, Prahlada Maharaj would be elevated to Sarupya liberation, and in that sense he resembled Lord Vishnu. Therefore, Prahlad was to be killed by Hiranyakashipu. Devotees, Vaishnavas, attain the liberations of Sarupya, Salokya, Sarishti, Samipya, etc. Whereas the Mayavadis are supposed to attain the liberation known as Sayujya. Sayujya Mukti, however, is not very secure. Whereas Sarupya, Salokya, Sarishti, Samipya, Mukti are most certain. Because there, in these four Muktis, you enter the spiritual planets. So you are safe. Without entering spiritual planet, if you get Sayujya, you go to the Brahma Jyoti and you are just suspended there. Just like many years ago, when I was in my school days, they made an announcement. We are giving holiday to all students for 1 week. We asked why? Because Skylab is falling down. There was a Skylab rocket went up. Not finding any planet to land, it came back. So somehow, with great effort, they diverted it into the ocean. Otherwise, if it would fall on the earth, we have a large portion of a city, thousands of people would have died. So, although the servants of, in the same manner, impersonalists may go and get suspended in the Brahma Jyoti, but Arukha Krichrena Param Padam Tataha Patanti Ado Vanadrati Ishmarangreya. There are some preachers nowadays, who in Bhakti Vaibhava or Bhakti Vedanta, they give a wrong interpretation to the verse, saying that this is not about impersonalists who have reached Brahman. This is only about impersonalists who have reached the Brahman realization on earth. They may fall. But once you go to Brahman, you don't fall. Like that they preach, which is a wrong philosophy. Because I can show you multiple quotes of Srila Prabhupada saying, you even after reaching Brahman, you can fall. Any of you want to challenge me, I can show you. Multiple places in Prabhupada's purport, Prabhupada says, after reaching Brahma Jyoti, you can fall. Because it is a metastable state, it's a 0-0. But once you go to the positive axis, you enter into a spiritual planet, then you cannot fall. Why these people are bringing this kind of new concocted philosophies? Because they are using their speculation. They think they know better than Prabhupada. So we have to repeat what Prabhupada says. In Prabhupada, many purports Prabhupada says that. So here also he says that. See? Sarupya, Salokya, Sarishti, Samipya, Mukti are most certain. Whereas Sayujya is not very secure. In what sense it is not secure? There is a possibility of fall. Although servants of Lord Vishnu, Narayana in the Vaikuntha planets are equally situated with the Lord, the devotees there know very well that the Lord is the master, whereas they are servants. So, I was thinking of speaking on one very important topic today because Naisham Matistavad Rukramangrim, that verse, talks about how by properly associating with advanced devotees, we can make advancement. Correct, no? So, we will talk something about that, which is a very important thing. See, this is based on the Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani book. So, there are many people. I'll just show you the title and speak, and then real thing I'll come little 10 minutes later. See, there are many people who may follow Varnasrama. Varnasrama, following Varnasrama means what? You follow Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. So, there are many organizations where there are Brahmachari ashrama. They also have. Similarly, some Grihastha may follow for example, Nitya Karma, Naimitika Karmas. Like Gayatri 3 times a day, or performing Shraddha ceremony, or following the 40 sanskaras. At home, one may follow all these things. And one may go through the route of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha also. So, if somebody is doing this kind of Varnashrama in those days, and somebody is following the Varnashrama in these days, Izolna Shivaram Swami Maharaj says it is not the same. Why? Because in those days, one could afford to worship even different demigods and go through a gradual process of life after life and taking birth and then being a dharmic, pious Brahman and everything. And then you will gradually get upgradation and come to the point of Shuddha Bhakti. But now the world around is not favorable for such kind of gradual upliftment, because right now is the beginning of Kali Yuga is so worse. Imagine you're going to be born next 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 years. World is going to be better or worse? Worse. Yeah. Therefore, Prabhupada emphasized on one-stroke method. Take the pure devotion service and go back home, back to Godhead. So that point. So in that sense, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected Varnashrama when it was presented alone by Ramananda Rai. But when Ramananda Rai said, if one accepts Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, Ashramas, but one adopts the process of Shravanam and Kirtanam, of Srimad Bhagavatam, and chanting of the holy name, then Mahaprabhu said, Yahahaya. From there only he started. Yes, this is it, he said. Why? Varnashrama without including pure devotion service practices is like a car without driver. A car is very wonderful, Varnashrama structure is very wonderful, but without Shuddha Bhakti emphasis, it is like a car without a driver. So it's not going to progress in the path of devotional service. That is the example Maharaj gives here. So, therefore, there is a famous verse. Jnane prayasamudapasya namantayeva jivanti santmugaritam bhavadiya vartam sthane sthita shrutigatam tanuvan manobir ye prayasho ajita jitopyasitais trilokyam. In this verse, he says, Jnane prayasamudapasya. Throw the speculation out of the window, he says. Namantayeva, bow down to Krishna. Jivanti santmukaritam bhavadiya vartam. Those sadhus for whom Krishna consciousness is their life. Prabhupada says sadhu means he is after God and after God only. If anybody is after anything else, he is not a sadhu. Sadhu means he is only after God, he says. You can read this in the SSR book. Jivanti. Jivanti means he lives. Just like a fish cannot live without water. Similarly, Jivanti Sant Mukaritam, those santhas for whom Krishna is the life. Like he says, Machchitta Madgata Prana, he says. So he says, from those santhas, devotees, what he says? Sant Mukharitam, from their lotus mouths, Bhavadiya Vartam. One should hear the narrations of Lord's name, form, qualities, pastimes, and activities. Jivanti Santmukaritam Bhavadiya Vartam. Sthane Sthita. In whatever ashrama you may be in, brahmachari, or grihastha, vanaprastha, it doesn't matter. You may be a woman, or a man, or a child, or a old. Look at this Giriraj, Brajraj, those three Rajas. He's here. We saw those children of Sarvavatar Prabhu. You can imagine these small kids are distributing books. And they are dancing in the Kirtan. Prabhupada said, you don't know, you think they are children. They are not children. They have done a lot of devotion service in their past lives. Prahlada Maharaj also looked like one of them. Isn't it? But what kind of philosophy is speaking? You can see that. Nowadays there are such a small kids who speak big philosophy also, correct, no? You must have seen videos, isn't it? Yeah. So, sthana is that in whatever situation you may be in, no problem. You keep yourself in that situation. Shruti gatam, that's the most important thing. His Holiness Radha Maharaj was telling in one lecture, Bhakti marg mein katinai kya hai? खड़े होकर सुनो, नींद आता तो बैठ कर सुनो, लेट कर भी सुन सकते हो, सिर्फ सो मत जाओ. ऐसे बस सिर्फ सुनना है. He said, only you have to hear, that's all. So very easy path it is. Maya sakta mana partha yogam yunjan madashrayah asamshayam samagram mam yata jnasyasi tat shrunu. See, only here. Shrotavya, kirtitavyascha, smartavyascha, ichchatabhayam, shrotavya. One has to only hear in this path. From whom? From those santas for whom Krishna is their pran. Hear from them. He says, Sudhigatam, Tanu, Man, Manobir. With your body, mind and words, after hearing that message, surrender to Krishna. So, one place I read, he says, with what conviction a devotee surrenders, there is one famous verse. Sarva gokyatamam bhuyaga shrunume paramam vachah ishtosi me dridamiti idam bhakshyami te hitam. See, Krishna told this famous verse. He asked the question to Arjuna after finishing the whole Gita. Kaschidetat shrutam partha. Hey Partha, did you hear my Bhagavad Gita with attention? Because you are not speaking anything. In the beginning you asked many questions. Now you have become silent now. Are you understanding or not? Kaschideta shrutam partha, did you hear me attentively? Tvayayikagrena chetasa, with a one ekagrata chitta, did you hear? With one pointed attention. Kaschid ajnana sammoha pranashtaste dhananjaya. What your ajnanata and moha, your illusion and ignorance, are they vanquished? Like that Krishna is asking. Any good teacher should ask this question to students. In those days, I used to give a continuous class for the college students, 1 or 1.5 hours. One boy was raising the hand in between. I said, wait a minute, I'll finish and then you can. After 5 minutes, I finished the class and I asked, what was your question? He said, sir, class is already answered. He said, what is it? When will the class end? So that was my question. Then I asked, what did you understand from the class today? There are many people who may not grasp sufficiently. So therefore, it's a duty of the teacher to check whether the student has grasped or not by asking questions. So Krishna is asking the question and then Arjuna is going to answer. But then Krishna wanted to make sure that, Arjuna, after hearing all these things, he should know the sum and substance of the Bhagavad Gita. Correct, no? Then he said, Sarva guhyatamam bhuyaha. Now I am going to tell you, Arjuna, guhyatamam, the most confidential secret I'm going to tell you now. This is like, even in case you are not attentive during the class. Now I am going to give you the, call for action. Take note of this, he said. Sarvaguhyatamambo yaka shrunume paramam vachaha. This is the supreme instruction, Arjun. And then he is saying, what is it? Ishtosi me dridamiti. You are very, very dear to me. See, Ishta means dear. Dridam means you are very, very dear to me. He is saying, Idam bakshyami te hitam. अरे तुम्हारी भलाई के लिए बोल रहा हूँ. For your benefit I am telling you. Hitam. And what is that? Manmana babamad bhakto madhyaje mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosime. These are the components of surrender. He says, think of me by chanting the holy name. Become my bhakta. Bow down to me and worship me. And if you do these things, you will become very, very dear to me. And you will definitely attain me. Of this, there is no doubt. So, any devotee who reads the Bhagavad Gita should become touched by these instructions. And then Krishna told, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja. So Krishna says that the supreme instruction is that you surrender to me. Abandon all other chota-mota dharmas. The ultimate dharma is paro dharma, which is love of God. If you adopt this, I'll be most pleased. And then Arjuna also said, Karishye vachanam tava. I will follow. Now I am not going to fight the battle as a Kshatriya. I am going to fight the battle as Hare Krishna devotee now. Like that Arjuna said. Why? Because if I fight as a Kshatriya, I may maintain some vengeance towards somebody or affection towards somebody, which was the case with me in the beginning of the Gita. Now I have no raga, no dvesha. Now I have only one identity. I am Krishna Das. And whatever you say, I will do. Arjuna surrendered like that. So, in this way, it's a duty of the Guru to bring the disciple to this point. So that's why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Ramananda Rai that Varnasrama, along with pure devotional service, is a very, very, very good platform. In ISKCON Prabhupada instituted that, as well as Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also. In Gaudiya Math also he did that. Situate yourself in one of the ashramas peacefully. Because Kali Yuga is very degraded. If you are not situated in ashram, it's dangerous. Either you be a good brahmachari or a good grihastha. If a brahmachari is weak minded, he is not properly situated in the brahmachari ashram, then he should adopt the grihastha ashram and accept a wife and beget children and raise them in Krishna consciousness and be peacefully situated. Those who are already grihasthas, they should not go outside the barriers of the grihastha marital relationship to extramarital relationship. That will really ruin the family. Prabhupada says if a man or a woman, if they are not satisfied with each other, husband and wife, they are like, Prabhupada gives the example of lightning in the clouds, which is sometimes like that, the lightning is shining in different clouds. Similarly, if a woman is, with one, why a husband is compared to Jaladhar? Because he has a lot of money in his pocket. He can give for purchasing all the items for the wife, correct? Now, therefore, he is compared to cloud. And wife is compared to lightning. Lightning is bright and beautiful. So that's why woman is compared to that. So here, means what? Lightning is jumping here and there. Sometimes with one man, sometimes with another man. That will really break the family. It will ruin the family. One should be peacefully situated within one family. Similar brahmacharis in the ashram, they should be peacefully situated, control the mind and senses, focus their attention on study of the scriptures and performing devotional services. So ashrama is very good. One should accept a certain ashram. And then situating in that ashram, one should not become complacent. The ashrama is not for becoming dull. The ashrama is actually a platform given to us. Like for example, one of you got an engineering college seat. Now you want to celebrate a festival that you got into college. Nothing wrong in celebrating one festival in the beginning of first year, correct? No? But after the festival, you have to study also. If you don't study 50 papers, you will not earn the degree. Similarly, after accepting ashrama, one should do Shruti Katham, one should hear. So otherwise it will be a mere tradition for setting example. So you have to rise from piety to spirituality, not piety only for prosperity. There are some people who think that, you see, I will do all my material activities. Side by side, I will also have Krishna also. I can add Krishna into my life. Little bit, I don't mind accepting. That kind of thing will not do. Because if you're going to accept Krishna in the side by side a little bit, but we have our material programs, then that is going to make us become stuck in the material world. So what to do if I am not frustrated with Maya? Somebody may ask a question. Prabhu, I am still not yet frustrated with Maya. So Krishna consciousness is very wonderful. At the same time, I am not able to feel that high taste. On the other hand, I feel a very high taste for Maya. If somebody says like that. So is it a very dangerous situation? Is there a hope? So we'll get answer to that in this. It'll come now. Krishna's special interest in demigod worshippers is what? At least demigod worshippers are coming into the fold of Vedic path. But then the problem is, if they remain stuck in demigod worship, they may never get ahead. So Prabhupada preached vehemently against demigod worship for one reason. Because our Ayush is very short in Kali Yuga, and we cannot afford to be doing Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha for 100 lifetimes. We cannot be doing that, I told you. So, how does the sadhu sangha work from material delight to mixed devotion to pure devotion to Sri Krishna is very important to learn. So a person is not yet frustrated with Maya, so he is absorbing himself in material delight now. And goes to different demigod temples and asks different demigods for different goods. You give me this, you give me that. And then life is going on, chandan, kumkum, then you put. So they may go and they may do even, they have a poti also sometimes in their pocket. They may recite some, mantras also. One time I was going from Pune to Bombay in one of the railway compartments. As soon as the train started, immediately all of them started clapping hands. Jai Dev, Jai Dev, Jai Panduranga, they say, no? I was amazed. Am I in Kali Yuga or Satya Yuga? So many bhaktas. The train is filled and flooded with bhaktas, I thought. I was amazed. Then later on, I asked the people how this whole train is chanting. They said, not the whole train, only this bogie. This is a season ticket bogie. They said, these fellows have job in Bombay. Daily they go from Pune to Bombay. They said. Then that went on for about 3 to 4 minutes. After that, they put the suitcase in the front and started playing cards. Then they were having tobacco, smoking and everything. My Lord. So that is called as piety. Little piety they have. Somebody opens a shop in the morning and then takes agarbatti. And then close the door. Over. Morning, 2 minutes, whatever I am supposed to do for God, I have done. So people want piety for prosperity, not piety to spirituality. So they are absorbed in material delight. So how can they be elevated? The solution is sadhu sangha. We will talk about that. How to do sadhu sangha, we will come to that. So Varnasrama without sadhu sangha is car without driver. Maharaj says that in that lecture, in that book, Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani. It's a very good book. Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani book is elaboration of the Nectar of Devotion book. So it's a very, very extraordinary masterpiece work. You can read that. It's a bulky book. It's available in Veda base also. It's available. It's in which section, Sarpan Goprabhu? In Veda base, in which section it is? 16. Is it 29? Book by? Book by other ISKCON devotees in that Lal publications. Book by other ISKCON devotees. In that, if you go to Lal publication, you find this book, Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani. I have taken a rich text format. I have a book also. If anybody writes to me, I can send you also. It's a very good book it is. Yeah, hard copy he will give you. And then when we come to bhakti in 3 gunas, ignorance, passion and goodness. That is actually very advanced. Really? Bhakti in 3 gunas is advanced. Because bhakti directed to Krishna is far superior to, so-called devotion to different devatas. Atheism is the lowest, Nastik. From Nastik, people come to Astik. From Astik, you become Bhakta. But in bhakti, there are 81 types of bhakti. Arapasiddha bhakti. 81 types of bhakti where one has materialistic mindset. So we have Tamoguni bhakti, Rajoguni bhakti, Satoguni bhakti. Like these are all explained by Kapila to his mother Devahuti. He says, Abhisandaya yohim sam dambam matsaryameva samrambi binna drigbhavam sa bhakti tamasamuchyate. He's saying tamasa bhakti means 5 qualities. Abhisandaya yohim sam. Devotee who is violent, angry, or proud, himsam, dambam, matsaryam. Matsarya means envious of others' progress. Samrambhi means angry. And bhinna drigbhavam, separatist. He doesn't cooperate with devotees. He acts independently. All devotees go in one side, he goes on another side. He goes like that. So these 5 qualities are tamasa bhakti, tamoguni bhakti. And rajoguni bhakti means then one has fruitive mentality. If I do this service, what will I get? What name, fame will come to me? Who will recognize me? How popular can I become? Things like that. That is rajoguni bhakti means some expectation of fruits, fruitive mentality. And actually, hard work is intended for one's own selfish satisfaction. Still, one does it for Krishna. And Sattvic bhakti means we want purification of heart. And we want to get rid of sufferings of the material world. People think if I do bhakti, the suffering will go away. Maybe God will take note of me that I am a good boy. He'll remove the suffering from my life. So we want to remove suffering. We want to purify. Removing suffering is lower. Higher than that is to get purified. That is higher. Vishuddha Sattva means your desire is only to serve the Lord without any motivation. Like he says, Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya Nirgunasya Udahritam Ahetukya Vyabhita Ya Bhakti Purushottame. He's saying Lakshanasya Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya. The Shuddha Bhakti, what are its characteristics? Nirgunasya means it is beyond the 3 gunas. It is beyond Sattva Rajas Tamas. Ahetuki, it is unmotivated. Some classes before I was giving the example of a mother serving her baby and a servant maid serving the baby. You remember that? There is a big difference. Mother serves without any hetu. And servant maid's hetu is salary. If the neighborhood house they give her 1 more 1,000 rupees, she will leave this and go there. For her, the motivation is money. Mother has no motivation except love. There is no other motivation. And mother will extend, she will sacrifice her sleep at night. But servant maid will say, if you want me to extend, pay 1,000 more. No extension. Rock bottom minimum service servant maid will do. Mother will do the activities lovingly. When she is dealing with the child. For her, serving the child itself is satisfaction. Whereas servant maid, her satisfaction is, she will do the service mechanically, like a robot. And after that is done, her delight is in how much money I get. Correct, no? You see the difference? So, when we come to the Shuddha Bhakti, ahetuki, apratikata. Ahetuki means there is no material motivation and it's apratikata, it's never interrupted. It goes on and on, irrespective of whether you are poor or rich, you are in a suffering. He may be like Prahlada Maharaj was suffering in varieties of ways by his father's torture. Did he give up the bhakti? It was never interrupted. Went on and on. That is the nature of the bhakti. Mayyananyena bhavena bhaktim kuruvanti ye dridam madarte tyakta karmanaha tyakta svajana bandavaha. He's saying, Mayyananyena bhavena, with ananya bhav, my devotees worship me. Ananya means they have no other focus other than me. Other things, it's not that they don't do their duties to family, wife, children, office and everything. They do, but that's not their prime focus. For them, attaining Krishna is the prime focus. And other things they carefully do in order to keep life peaceful. Correct, no? Like you have to satisfy your boss, otherwise he will lay you off. Correct, no? You go to the company, do the job, do your duties. Okay, I'm supposed to take breakfast or lunch, whatever. But their heart is in pleasing Krishna and Guru. Mayyananyena bhavena bhaktim kuruvanti ye dridham. Dridham means very firmly. Madarte tyakta karmanaha. They offer all their activities and the fruits of activities to me. He's saying that means even while doing the activity, they know I'm doing activities meant for pleasing Krishna. Madarte tyakta karmana, tyakta svajana bandava. For Prahlad, his swajan and bandavas were his father and mother. But he is ready to, give up his father for the sake of attaining Krishna, because his father was an atheist. He was deadly against Vishnu and he did not just dance according to the tune of his atheistic father. So he was ready, like our Vibhishan was ready to forego his brother and the palace and the position and the fame and the money. Everything he was ready to forego. One day to become Lord Ram's devotee with empty hands he came. This is the meaning of a devotee. Madatti takta karmana takta svajana bandavaha. He says. There's one more verse in the same series. Who knows? Next one. Madashraya Katamrishta. Is it correct? Shinvanti Katayanti Cha. Tapanti Vividastapaha Naitan Madgata Chetasaha. He's saying that Madashraya Katamrishta. My katha of my name, form, pastimes and everything, it is very, very nectarian for my devotees, he says. Madashraya Katamrishta. Shinvanti Katayanti. They hear it, they delight in sharing with others also. They discuss about me. And then he's saying, Tapanti Vividaha Tapaha. Na etan. Although they suffer in this world from varieties of ways, people may cause them trouble, those troubles never touch their soul at all, because they are very satisfied in devotional service. Although there may be externally trouble for them, troublesome situations like Pandavas underwent so many troubles, but they were always happy, even in forest, remembering Krishna. So we also want to become pure devotees one day like that. So therefore, one step before such pure devotion is mixed devotion, which is that famous verse, Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukritin arjuna arto jignasudartarthi jnane cha bharatarishabha. So those two fellows, Dhruva was a artharthi and Gajendra was a artho. He was suffering. So due to suffering, he prayed to Lord to be relieved from suffering. And Dhruva wanted kingdom. So these two are two less noble goals among the four people. These two people's motivations are less noble. The other two fellows are considered superior. Who are they? Jignasu and Jnani. So Jignasu wants to know what is the soul, what is his body. He is wondering, I want to know. I heard that the soul never dies. Soul cannot be cut with scissors. Soul cannot be burned by fire. He is very curious to know about what is the soul and what happens to soul after death. He is a Jignasu. Jnani is a fellow. He already knows about the soul. He knows clearly that I am not the body, I am the spirit soul. And he has some knowledge of God, but he wants to find out more about Krishna, especially. And he is very curious about the nature of devotional service and the devotee's lifestyle, everything. He is very eager to know more about Krishna, because he has seen many paths, Karami, Jnani, Yogi, Bhakta, different paths. But amongst the path, he is attracted to the path of devotional service, of which he has little information. But now he wants to. So this is a Jnani whose Shraddha, then comes Sadhu Sangha Bhajana Kriya and all. We have to be in this platform. We know I am not the body, I am the spirit soul. After that, we also should have some idea of God. God is the greatest and everything. And then we should be eager to know more about God from the perspective of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoge na manasi samyak pranihite amale upashyan purusham purnam mayam cha tadapashrayam. How Maya is subordinate to Krishna, and Maya cannot do anything to me if I take shelter of Krishna. A devotee is convinced about this. So then a person, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha Bhajana Kriya, then we can go ahead. So in this way, from material delight through demigods to mixed devotion to Krishna, these mixed devotees are also not ordinary. Like every devotee sitting here is a super special personality according to Krishna. Krishna says that Udara sarva yevete jnani tvatpaimame matam. So he's saying that anyone who puts his feet in Krishna's temple, Krishna considers them very, very special, because he says that this poor living entity has been wandering in millions of lifetimes, going to different demigods, not knowing the ultimate goal. At last, stumbling here and there, it has come to my temple and putting the feet. So this fellow is coming under the four categories: Artho, Artharthi, Jignasu, and Jnani. So therefore, every devotee who comes to temple deserves to be respected, welcomed, and taken utmost care. Because somehow they are feeling some attraction to Supreme Lord. And Krishna says they are very, very magnanimous souls, he says. Just like for a mother, the child who is scribbling, like one mother told me, see, my child has written Om. I looked at the slate. The child had put something like Archimedes spiral. I said, I asked the mother, how can you see Om in this? Only you can see Om. It has only made like this. Because of her love, she is thinking the child is writing Om. He has not yet started writing, he's just scribbling. Or like there's another mother who offered obeisance to Prabhupada. A child was saying, bah, bah, bah. He was saying, my child is saying, Prabhupada. Child is saying Baba everywhere. Huh? But mother out of love, like that Krishna also says, oh, they have come to my temple. They have put their foot in my temple. My Lord Udara, he says, great souls. And he may say, what great soul doesn't chant one round also? Huh? He says Udara. Huh? He considers them very special. Because according to Krishna, he knows that this fellow has come to my temple, some devotee will catch him now. Huh? And see, our FFL department started giving prasadam morning and afternoon. And then they didn't just stop with prasad. Slowly they started chanting one round before prasad. And then sometimes they put kirtan. Sometimes there is a lecture also they hear. And people who come, and many people after taking prasad, they also take a mala with them. They're going to chant. Huh? So devotee means the nature of a devotee means they have a habit of gifting Krishna to others. You cannot stop them. Huh? That is the innate nature of a devotee. Therefore Krishna is very confident. If this fellow has come to my temple, he will be taken care of by my devotees. So it's Krishna's expectation from us. Anyone who comes shouldn't go neglected. They shouldn't just take a selfie and go away. Huh? You have to make them realize their self. Huh? By giving them the knowledge of self-realization. Huh? So there was an article, I think Chanchanpa somebody wrote, from selfie to self-realization. Isn't it? So then that's mixed devotion. And they are coming with some motive, but eventually they can come to pure devotion. Huh? So in the mixed devotion, there is also three gunas are also there. Huh? Sattva guna, rajaguna, tamaguna. And then, okay, let us see further. I don't want to go through everything, only some selected. See, here is how the steps go ahead, you see here. See, bhakti abhas means what? First, follow the Varnasrama rules and regulations without knowledge of Vishnu. You find many people, correct, not do this. Especially Hindus. There are many people, many husband, wife, children, they very peacefully practice. In my travels, I come across many people, somebody is doing some, shloka class in the evening, they're conducting for the class. They may not have much knowledge of Gita or the meaning of life, goal of life and all, but they have many good habits they have. And without much knowledge of Lord's supremacy, they worship all the devatas and to go on. But when they come to devotion, they know that Vishnu or Krishna is supreme. Then later gives results of their work to the Lord, but for personal gain. Sakama karma mishra bhakti. There are many businessmen who divert some of their profits to the Lord's service because they know very well that if you serve the Lord, Lord will multiply my profits. There are many people like that. And it is a fact. They grow very fast in their business. So many people, that's why Balaji temple, you see, they get a lot of donation, Tirupati, isn't it? So, but they have some sakama karma mishra bhakti. People do that. And then they have that firm faith that if I go to Lord, Lord will not turn me away. So offer the results to Vishnu without desire for personal gain. That is nishkama karma mishra bhakti. That is advanced stage. Initially, somebody may be after name and fame or after getting something in return, but later on when they become mature, they like to see, like in Hyderabad, morning when we go for Harinam Sankirtan, in one place I saw many of these Agarwals and Bansal families, men, they were also dancing when we went. There were about 8-10 of them. And the Matajis are all distributing prasad to people. And these men came and danced with us. We stopped our kirtan and then we did kirtan for a while. And that was happening almost every day in that area. They were distributing. So I thought that during the Margashish month they are distributing. December month I thought. But then I heard that throughout the year they distribute. Every morning, husband, wife, they come as a team of about 8-10 of the couples. And they do it in different parts of Hyderabad. So during that time when we were going in Harinam, we came across them. But even other times of the year, they do. These are all very rich people, stinking rich people. But they have the good culture in their Agarwal families to distribute prasad. They offer Radha Krishna deities at home and they come and distribute like that. So they have some good heart. And then I asked, what is their motive? He said, no, they just want to see the prasadam distributed. They do that. That's why he's saying here, they offer results to Vishnu without desire for any personal gain. They just keep doing it throughout the year, I heard. in different places. So, and they know that Lord is supreme. Ultimately, He has only given us whatever we have. It's our duty that we should do this. Distribute prasad. They feel like that. Offer the results of work in full knowledge of the Lord. That is nishkama karma jnana mishra bhakti. That means now the knowledge has dawned. Yo meva asammudho janati purushottamam sa sarva ved bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. That is about a devotee in the Purushottam Yoga chapter, 15th chapter. Lastly, Krishna says that. So the difference between Nishkama Karma Jnana Mishra Bhakti means, and Shuddha Bhakti is in the Jnana, there's a little leaning towards liberation. Whereas actually Krishna rates the Jnanis to be superior to the other three guys, three fellows. The reason is because the Jnanis are more or less liberated from the entanglement in this world by cultivation of vairagya, detachment. And also they are curious to know more. That's why he says, Tesham Jnani Nityokta, he says. So, at last they become absorbed in the mood of devotion to Vishnu, but do not actively serve him. That is Ashtanga Yoga. So when the Jnani ripens in his practice, that's what we say, Bahunam Janmanamanti Jnanamanvam Prapadyate, and then finally, Vasudeva Sarameti. Then he understands that what I was thinking of God as impersonal is wrong. The impersonal Brahma Jyoti comes from the Paramatma, comes from the Lord's form. Then he becomes attracted to the form of the Lord, and then he becomes Ashtanga Yogi. And then he meditates on the Lord but doesn't do service. Why? Because he thinks Lord is very great. What can we do for him? Everything, he is father of everyone. We can't render any service to him. He thinks like that. I am too small to offer him anything. Everything is offered by him, he thinks. So reverence is very high, but no service. Then comes Uttama Bhakti after that. It's only one type only, Shuddha Bhakti. I told you after the 81 types of mixed devotion, that's only. So mixed devotion means it has a mishra of karma mishra, jnana mishra, yoga mishra and all of that. When you go beyond all the mishra, you come to Shuddha Bhakti, Uttama Bhakti. That's only one type only. Pure devotees have only one goal, to please Krishna. They don't make any demands. And then in that, once you adopt the Shuddha Bhakti, then he says, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, all these things we can do. So here comes Kanishta, Madhyama and Uttama Adhikari. He says that Shraddha Anusari. Shraddha Anusari means according to your Shraddha, Uttama, Madhyama, Kanishta, Shraddha Anusari. He says that according to the depth of your faith in Krishna, these three categories come. We begin with little Shraddha and then by Sadhu Sangha we grow. So, okay, let us go ahead. Now I am going to show you. I'll directly go to please read, one of you, take the mic quickly.
Faith in Krishna's pure representatives is equally important and can be harvested from the study of faith in the Lord. Pure faith in Krishna is the firm conviction that following his orders will fulfill all one's needs and desires.
Any other degree?
Any other degree of faith in Krishna, although it may be strong, is impure and cannot lead to perfection. And faith in Krishna's representative is inseparable from faith in Krishna, because the hearts of the Lord and his representatives are intimately linked. Therefore, qualification for membership in ISKCON should be based on pure faith in Srila Prabhupada's teachings, which includes his approach to fulfilling Krishna's instructions and Lord Chaitanya's mission. Srila Prabhupada's pure followers thinks, if I practice Krishna consciousness as Srila Prabhupada taught it, whatever apparent consequences, I shall achieve love for Krishna. Moreover, a pure devotee is convinced that there is no better way to serve Srila Prabhupada than to practically apply his teachings in everyday life.
Yeah, two things, Krishna's instruction and Chaitanya's mission. Krishna's instruction is how to execute devotional service. We should be convinced Prabhupada way. Like Prabhupada has given what all to do in ISKCON for us to become Shuddha Bhaktas. And we don't We don't have to go outside that. One is convinced, like 16 rounds of chanting, 4 regulative principles we should follow, 64 principles given by Sri Rupa Goswami, Pad, and also remaining in a devotee community and then worshipping the deity form of the Lord. And in this way, one should be, if one is peacefully situated in these activities, without thinking that, oh, this is not enough. How can I attain my Swarupa? I'll go to Vrindavan, meet some Baba. So one is not satisfied. Then one is going to stick one's neck out of the window looking for something else without doing what Prabhupada has taught. But those who are firmly convinced about what Prabhupada has taught, they will go on peacefully. Prabhupada says our movement and missionary activities of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for example, distributing prasad, distributing holy name, distributing Prabhupada books, outdoor activities and indoor activities like deity worship and entering various services, and studying the Shastra very carefully. In this way, one is completely peacefully satisfied in this, and then one works in that way, then one is developing faith. See, cleaning lust versus awakening prem, I have written one line here if you see. What is the major difference? If you see, the reawakening of love by reducing false ego may resemble the process that takes place as devotee advance through the stages of semblance. Like 2 points I've given here in bright blue, you see. In the development of Shuddha Bhakti, love is gradually awakened. Whereas in development of semblance of devotion, Bhakti Abhas, lust is gradually extinguished. See, what is the difference between Bhakti and Bhakti Abhas? As we were saying, the piety. Somebody who is pious is also worshipping Krishna in an aupcharik way, in an official way. And he is just following all the procedures, like we say, Varnasrama, Acharavad, Purushena, Parapuman, Vishnu, Aradita, Pantananya, Tatosha Karanam, correct? No? For example, see, there are 2 Krishna temples. In one Krishna temple, a pujari is appointed, he is worshipping the deities, he is accepting some salary, and he may also do the procedures of Navavidha Bhakti, just as anybody else is doing. On the other hand, somebody is doing a service under the guidance of a pure devotee, on the order of the pure devotee, and he is worshipping Krishna, therefore looks like externally the same, correct? No? Whereas the motivation matters a lot. With what, why are you doing what you're doing? So if you're coming in Guru Parampara properly, serving spiritual master, then you do it, it's a voluntary service you do, lovingly you do. And who are you worshipping, the Lord's position, everything. So it's like earth and sky difference. And there's a very big difference. Therefore, he says that semblance of devotion, externally, sometimes bhakti looks similar, but the motives and other things come into picture. So, because in piety, the center is myself. I go to temple, what will I get? Whereas in true spirituality, Lord is the center. That's the main difference. Now, this is not, the main thing I wanted to show you is this one about associating with devotees. This is the most important things coming now. 2-3 slides, very important. How to associate is explained here. Read this, please. Yeah.
Association with devotees who are more advanced and self-realized, transcendentally situated, in whose hearts pure devotion resides, offer experience of ecstasy even for a neophyte devotee.
This is what Prahlada is saying. Naisha matistava durukramangrim sprashati anartha yata. So he says that we should associate with the devotees. There are 2 types of devotees. For example, a Madhyamadikari can help you cleanse the lust in the heart by strict disciplines, pure lifestyle, and adopting the devotional principles. Gradually the lust can be cleansed. But if one comes across Uttamadikari devotees, their hearts are filled with loving devotion to the Lord, and that is very contagious. When people associate with Uttamadikari devotees, they don't even think about cleansing the lust. They become charmed by the devotion of the Uttamadikari devotee. And their devotion arises to such a degree that they don't know when did the lust got driven out. They don't even know. Just like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Shankar Pandit and Govinda would put Mahaprabhu inside and latch outside so that he doesn't go out of Gambhira. Correct, no? In the night when Mahaprabhu is sleeping. But then they both will sleep outside the room. But suddenly, in the early morning, they will find that the door is open and Mahaprabhu is missing. Mahaprabhu would have gotten up in the middle of the night and crying for Jagannath, Krishna. He would go out. Sometimes he would go to the ocean side. Sometimes he would go to the Simhadwaram. So one of the days like that, they were surprised. We latched the door outside. How did he go? Because Krishna has no limits, correct? No? So Mahaprabhu had fallen on the ground in front of the Simhadwaram, and all the Vaishnavas went and surrounded him with a hurricane lamp in the hand, and they sprinkled water on his face. And Mahaprabhu got up, and Mahaprabhu cried, why did you all bring me back? Why did you bring me back? He asked. I was in Vrindavan, on the top of Govardhan Hill. Krishna, Balram and covered boys surrounded by cows and calves. They were all standing, and all the gopis were plucking the flowers and making garlands, and I was also plucking flowers. We were about to make garland and offer to Krishna. Suddenly from there you brought me here. And then Mahaprabhu loudly cried. So when he cried, then all the Vaishnavas, they also cried along with him, because his intense feelings of separation affected them very, very powerfully. So in the same manner, Srila Prabhupada also, when he went abroad, he was so Krishna conscious that the devotees who were assisting Prabhupada, every exchange they had, it was something very closely connected to Krishna. For example, when Prabhupada would make, very meticulously he will cook. He was making the rasamalai balls, small balls. Prabhupada was making and showing. And there were 5-6 Matajis trying to learn from Prabhupada. And they were surprised about one thing, how the Swamiji makes same size balls. Prabhupada said, see, I have made 8 or 10. Now you make and show, Prabhupada said. So they made big and small. Prabhupada, he would reject some of them. Whenever it became little bigger, he would reject it. He would say, this is not Rasamalai ball, this is Gulab Jamun ball. So they were wondering how he makes like that. And then Prabhupada asked one of the ladies, Nandarani, I have given you the name Nandarani. Do you know who it is? She said, I don't know, Prabhupada. You call me Nandarani, that much only I know. Prabhupada said, Nandarani is mother Yashoda. And when you are cooking in the kitchen, you should think like Yashoda. Yashoda, while cooking, she will think, oh, my Kana will eat this nice item and he'll be very happy. So you are Yashoda's dasi. So you should always think that you are assisting Yashoda in the kitchen, making nice items for Krishna. So she says, this Nancy Mataji became Nandarani, correct, no? She says, oh, that is the first day from which I started thinking I'm assisting Yashoda now. Isn't it? So the nature of pure devotee is, they will completely change your identity. Earlier our identity was, you think I am an engineer, I am this, I am that, I have this property and everything. But then when you come across Krishna's devotees, advanced devotees, your whole identity changes completely. Whereas when you come in touch with less advanced devotees, then you can get some help in getting rid of the anarthas. But then there is a long way to go. If our identity can be changed, therefore the Diksha is given. On the day of initiation, Guru becomes father, and Shastras become mother, and Vaishnavas become relatives. And to the degree we internalize this and live according to that, then our progress will be very swift. Yeah, go ahead.
The first major step for faithful neophytes on the path of pure devotional service is to attain the company of pure devotees, sadhu sangha. The spiritual masters who introduce devotees to Krishna consciousness, Vartma Pradarshak Gurus.
See, when Prabhupada uses the word spiritual master, immediately we think of Diksha Guru only, correct, no? Whereas Prabhupada says spiritual masters. So even the Vartma Pradarshak Guru is also called a spiritual master. And then the Shiksha Gurus are also called spiritual masters. And the Diksha Gurus are also called spiritual masters. That's why he is saying Vartma Pradarshak Gurus. What do? Encourage
beginners to associate with more advanced Vaishnavas, and in such company, neophytes naturally come in contact with self-realized souls.
Therefore, we should not fear that when sometimes students come for a program, some brahmacharis think that, oh, this Maharaj will speak something strong and the boy will run away. Don't think like that, because if you bring a newcomer to a very advanced devotee, and then one time His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Maharaj came to Camp Temple, And I went to his room and said, Maharaj, last time you spoke about Sai Baba, it's better that you can skip that, in your lecture today. Today, 300-400 students are coming, So, because some boys are following and they get disturbed. And the Maharaj was giving lecture in between, he said, and Sai Baba, he said. And then he said, Radheshyam told me not to tell, but I cannot avoid. He said, people have made him God. How can he make a human being into God? He telling. So, in one of his lecture, he was telling, this beard, it is simply muchi. It's very, very bad. And then Prabhupada says he says, you see, for women, the long hair Krishna has given, it is cover their body. Women are supposed to have long hair, which is very good for them. But for men, they have to cut their hair. Similarly, this beard, mustache, all these things are considered muchi, he was telling. It's dirty. One should keep oneself clean, he was telling. So one boy was sitting with a beard, he got up and walked out. He said, I didn't tell about you, come on, crack. You can sit in here, don't worry, your beard is all right for today because you are hearing Krishna Katha now. After the class you can shave, no problem, he said. So, here is the point, sometimes when advanced devotees speak the truth, some neophytes may get put off, angry, and they may go away. And because of which they may lose the opportunity to become purified. Correct, no? Like imagine in villages, if somebody passes stool, after that they go to a pond to wash their back. Somebody becomes angry with the pond and says, I'm not going to wash. So who loses? The pond loses or the man loses? Yeah, correct, no? So by not getting our hearts cleansed from advanced devotees, we are the losers. Correct, no? So this is the point that I wanted to highlight today. It's coming in the next slide. That when we are associating with advanced devotees, we should have deep respect and faith and love for them. When you have respect, faith and love, their chastisements also will look like gulab jamun for you. See, how many of you agree that if somebody whom you love very much, they taunt you also, still you can accept it very happily. Correct? When you love someone, isn't it? So when there is love, there is faith. Because you feel that this person is trying to shape me to become a better person. He is going to, just like, you take a chisel and then chisel out marble, you know that, you're going to bring out a beautiful murti out of that marble. Similarly, if somebody taunts me also, my superior loves me so much like a mother loves a child. And whatever the scolding comes from my superior is for my good. One is convinced about that. Then one can get benefit from such association. Prabhupada scolded also as much as he appreciated devotees. And devotees could grow in that association and become powerful devotees in the future. I read further.
Transcendently situated devotees are sources of divine inspiration for spiritual fledglings. In the hearts of advanced devotees resides pure devotion, which is a blend of the spiritual Hadini and Samvit potencies. In the physical presence of Mahabhagavatas, faithful neophytes, free from envy, absorb this devotional energy and at once feel ecstasy. Thus, blessed with pure devotion, neophytes are eager to chant and serve in like-minded company.
So, in such Mahabhagavata devotees, in whose heart the Hladini actually means the bliss potency of Srimati Radharani. When that resides, these advanced devotees are blissfully situated, and that bliss affects the conditioned soul who is always morose. Conditioned souls are morose. And therefore they wonder, Ami bada sukhi, tume bada sukhi. How is this advanced Vaishnava so happy? So they also want to borrow some droplets of their happiness. So they come and get connected. They also try to jump and dance. They also try to sit and hear lecture. They also try to do some seva, like them, imitate them, copy them in the beginning. And in this way they absorb some devotional energy. And they also feel some ecstasy by doing that. And then when they are blessed with some little droplets of pure devotion, then they become eager to chant Hare Krishna, and also they want to serve that pure devotee in like-minded company. Yeah, read further. Why the devotees who were once joyfully tasting Krishna consciousness turn again to material life? Yeah, read that.
Less fortunate are the beginners who lack the association of advanced devotees, or whose envy prevents them from taking advantage of such company when they have it.
Yeah, for example, when advanced devotee comes, lot of people shower flowers on them, People bow down to the lotus feet, they praise them. And when they speak lectures, there are many of the advanced devotees, they expose Maya and explode Maya. Many people clap hands and they laugh and they enjoy. Oh, such a wonderful realization Maharaj has spoken. So sometimes a neophyte devotee becomes envious. Why so many people are respecting him so much? Why are they washing his feet? Why are they worshipping him? What about me? Nobody looks at me. Either one feels envy when one sees very advanced devotees glorified by somebody. So that if we have that envy barrier, then we can't go close to them and associate with them. Envy is one of the problems. Go ahead.
Hearing and chanting in the company of intermediate devotees may dissipate doubts and awaken a mood of service to Krishna. But the concepts of I and mine, which rule the hearts of narrow minded persons, obstruct the neophyte's spiritual progress.
See, Madhyamadikari association can give you three things. It can help you cleanse the lust in the heart. It can also dissipate doubts we may have in the philosophy. Removing the doubts by giving appropriate fitting answers they may give. And by doing that, they will awaken a mood of seva, bhav in your heart. These things Madhyamadikari can award you. Because, when we are all living entities in the conditions which are struggling with lust. With whatever body you may be in. But when one connects with the Madhyamadikari, one feels a little promotion. One is less affected by lusty pull and push. And one also is able to clear up the doubts, which are like a cloud blocking our vision. We have one session called as, Samshaya Nash Shraddha Prakash. It's called a faith and doubt session. So increasing the faith and destroying the doubts. So removing the doubts. And also awakening a seva bhav by which then one becomes convinced, okay, now I should do service and go back to Godhead. These things they can awake. But what often is not obtained from Madhyamadikari association is the ahankara and mamakara doesn't go away. Even though doubts may be clear, we may be doing devotion service, still we think I am an engineer, I am a doctor, I am this, I am that. We identify with our material successes and everything. And whereas when one associates, that's why we have to hear Prabhupada's lecture every early morning. We hear the completely smashed to dust the material identifications. Yeah, go ahead, next one.
It is difficult for such neophytes to improve their attitudes towards others, even towards senior devotees. All the beginners befriend some Vaishnavas. Their critical mentality makes them offensive towards others. In effect, these offenses either partially or fully obscure the joy the neophyte devotees once felt in Krishna consciousness.
You see, once when Mukunda Prabhu was driving the car, Prabhupada took an apple, he bit a little bit and gave it to him. So and he also bit the apple and gave it back to Prabhupada. He thought Prabhupada is doing like a friend, he thought. The purpose of Prabhupada eating and giving him is Maha, correct, no? So he can make advancement. So he was not aware that it's a pure devotee is giving, it's a special mercy, correct, no? Similarly, if a pure devotee is taking a bit of a cake and putting in his mouth and then he is taking out the cake and giving to others, somebody may think, what is this? He is making a juta and then giving to others. One may become envious. One may not know. One becomes very critical. Actually, what happens with us in our growing stage, we have a critical mindset and we apply it on everybody. For example, if a pure devotee enters the door and runs to see the darshan, he may say, hey, I offer obeisance to Prabhupada every day. He didn't offer obeisances. He's directly running to Krishna, but he is running out of love of God. Directly. We may be thinking, I am following proper code of conduct, but he is not following. That is a critical mentality. Actually, he is running to the deities out of love, and later on he will see Prabhupada and go and offer obeisance to Prabhupada. So we should not criticize, especially advanced souls, whose activity sometimes may not be understandable. Like sometimes, like one person was asking me, why these swamis are taking oil massage? What is this? 2 to 3 people are applying oil in their body and they take a bath. What is this? I don't take oil massage. I think I am more advanced. And I told this fellow, these fellows are traveling across the globe. In one day, they go to 3 continents. There are people like that. You can imagine different water, different temperature, different travel time. Their body is just squeezed out. How they are surviving also is a wonder. His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj was telling, when I was healthy, I was traveling across the globe 10 times a year, he said. Now I'm able to travel only 5 times. Even now. How many of you feel if you were in his situation, you would prefer to be indoors, within closed doors, correct, no? Because you may not want to even show to others that I am undergoing this suffering. What will people think of me and all that? So, he is just blissfully situated. So, therefore, one should know that one should not become critical when one sees great souls, their speech, their behavior. We may apply our own limited understandings on them and we may offend them. Like that is saying. Go ahead.
Without a higher spiritual taste, the minds of young devotees again turn to material life.
Yeah, because if I am critical of superiors, then I am not able to draw spiritual energy from them. Then again, without having a higher taste, then I go for the lower taste, he says. Neophytes may abandon path of pure devotion due to lack of respect for Vaishnavas and offenses to them. Go ahead.
If advanced devotees do not teach beginners about Sambandha Jnana, and if they do not show mercy by encouraging them to seriously practice devotional service, then neophytes will generally abandon the path of pure devotion.
It is the duty of the advanced devotees also to teach the Sambandha Jnana and not just, allow the younger ones to have a sentimental attachment to us. It's a duty. For example, there are sannyasis, there are gurus, there are senior devotees. If we simply accept the affection and respect given by our subordinates without giving them knowledge, then we become debtors. Just like, for example, if you gave me some money, I don't give you any commodity, I become a debtor. Similarly, I accept your obeisances to me. I accept your donation. I accept your affection. But I don't do anything for you in return. Then I become a debtor. I become obliged. Therefore, it's a duty of the advanced devotees to reveal the knowledge. Like in those days when I started Japa talk, there were some people who did not like it. They said, why waste time in the morning? We want to chant. Then we told them, okay, you can go out and chant if you want. So, but over a period of time, many liked it. Then we took a vote, how many of you want? Majority of them wanted. Then we continued that. It takes something like 5 minutes or 6 minutes, 8 minutes. But before the japa, when you have a talk and then you do japa, there is some preparation of the mind also. Correct, no? So you will always find that there will be, I feel always that if anybody is connected to me, I have to give them some kind of spiritual contribution. Because they have given us respect. You go to somebody's house, they are giving you 500 rupees, 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees, some donation they are giving. And they are giving you a feast prasad. So you eat the prasad, put donation in the pocket and push off. Finished, you are a debtor now. So how do you compensate for that debt? Then you have to tell them something from the Shastra, something that will benefit them, speak to them, do some Sankirtan, Kirtan at their home, help them to come one step closer to Krishna. Then only the debt will be finished. Otherwise, you'll have to be born again to come back and reap that. Isn't it? Go ahead.
Embracing their own misfortunes, such Kanishta Adhikaris stay aloof from pure Vaishnavas and inevitably concoct some distorted philosophy like condoning illicit sex and intoxication in Krishna's service. In the company of equally ill-fated souls, their fate degrades to an impure facsimile of what it once was.
Yeah. So, in this way, then they fall prey to illicit sex. Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati He Prasade Pure Sarva Asha. So the word Rati has a double meaning, 2 meanings. One meaning of the word Rati is sex life. Another meaning of the Rati is intense attachment. So if you have intense attachment to Prabhupada, Guru, Vaishnavas, then that intense attachment can uplift our consciousness above sex life. And in the event of we becoming critical of them and not having that kind of attraction to great souls, then our mind stoops into lusty activities. Another type of rati, yeah. Next one, why?
Why should neophytes, who by definition can neither respect Vaishnavas nor avoid committing offenses to them, should be encouraged to enter the company of superior Vaishnavas at all? Doesn't entering such company jeopardize their meager spiritual assets?
Some people say, hey, don't go near advanced devotees. They're dangerous. Why? Because you will be critical, you will commit offenses to them and you will fall down. Better not go at all. See, it's like saying, hey, don't lit up the gas stove in the kitchen. Why? Because there may be a fire accident. Huh? Then what to cook? No, just fast, that's all. Huh? Huh? So is it proper? So deity and devotee, they both have to be dealt with like fire, it is said. Don't become overly familiar, be respectful, and learn to take harness of fire. Like a lady in the kitchen knows how to cook with the gas cylinder and not cause an accident, correct, no? Not be careless. Yeah. How can a neophyte save himself from falling down? Yeah.
Neophytes fall down when they stay away from devotees, and they risk falling down when they mix with devotees.
See, when you stay away from devotees, we don't do anything properly spiritual, we become weak-minded and we fall down. But if we associate with devotees, there is a risk because of our critical mindset and envious mindset, there is a risk.
But because they can make no advancement without sadhu sangha, the challenge for neophytes is to stay in superior company.
Yeah. See, out of the two, which is better? Okay, try to stay in sadhu sangha. At the same time, try to associate with them without being critical, without being foolish. Learn to take advantage. That's the real intelligence. For neophyte, that's the best thing. Yes.
The beginners must carefully avoid ingratitude. They must control their rebellious nature even during periods when doing so is difficult, and they must stay among devotees.
Yeah, there are periods when you are dealing with seniors, they may scold you or they may correct you, and immediately our rebellious nature comes like Kaliya. What did you say? Then actually sometimes advanced devotees are very straightforward. Prabhupada also is very straightforward. There was one man came to Prabhupada, and that man said, Swamiji, you guys are eating, sleeping, and we are also eating, sleeping very nicely. I am a rich man, Now I am very pretty happy, he said. And Prabhupada showed him one pig. You see that pig? He said, yeah. Are you not like the pig? Prabhupada asked him, and devotees are shocked what that man is going to say. And Prabhupada said, look at the pig, he is so fat. You are also fat. That doesn't mean you are doing a very high quality work. But the pig is eating stool and you are eating all kinds of carcasses of animals. And the man very patiently heard. And then Prabhupada said, look at the quality of devotees' life. See what they are eating. How they are worshipping. See the clean lifestyle. And the man became transformed. Very amazing, no? So sometimes Prabhupada would give such examples, very graphic examples he would give. And somebody can get hurt also sometimes. He would say, Navam Dushkritano Mudha. Prabhupada says, I am not calling you a fool. Krishna says. Like that he would say. So that is why he is saying that one should avoid ingratitude due to one's rebellious nature. So many times, like one boy was asking me, Prabhu, when I hear these classes, my rebellious nature is coming up. Like when a devotee is speaking, we should surrender to Krishna. Mind says, why surrender? I won't surrender. Like that, something inside. Inside is speaking. Who is speaking? The rebellious mind is speaking like that. So, yes, the rebellious nature will come, but we should subdue the rebellious nature and cleanse it by gratitude and affection and respect and faith for the advanced devotees. And then, if you cross through those periods, every one of us will go through this kind of things in our life. Once you somehow or other cross through this, remaining in the association of devotees, understanding that I am not a pure soul now, therefore I am facing a lot of problems. Like how many of you experienced, you went to a doctor, he gave some injection and bitter medicines and you wanted to run away. You felt like that. Correct, no? But ultimately you knew that it is good for you. Correct, no? Therefore we stick on. And then eventually you cross that stage and come to a stage where you start relishing. Go ahead.
With the strength derived from their devotional practices, especially from chanting Hare Krishna in the company of pure Vaishnavas, neophytes must tolerate the inconvenience they feel from the reactions to their offenses.
Yeah. Because we have done so many offenses in the past, some reactions will come in the form of sufferings, physical suffering, emotional suffering. While living in the company of devotees, one devotee came and told Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I feel very difficult to live in the company of devotees. Prabhupada said, you see, spiritual life is difficult, but material life is impossible. He said, if you go in the outside world, you will suffer 10 times more. Some or other learn to tolerate living with devotees and adjust with your ego. And then this will eventually produce great good for you. Yeah.
If they persevere, in time they will overcome their lower nature and rise to the status of intermediate devotees.
Then we can cross the Kanishta stage and come to Madhyamadikari stage. The problem with Kanishta stage is he loves the Lord in the deity form, but he doesn't understand the value of devotees. He quarrels with devotees and he's not able to take advantage in Kanishta stage. But Kanishta, somehow they persist in because of respect and affection and faith in great souls. Then once you come to Madhyamadikari, then Madhyamadikari is more stable platform, steady platform. Yeah. What about the fate of those neophytes who fall away from the devotional path because of weakness or offense? Weakness within and offense by speaking critically, correct, no? If somebody falls away, then what is the future for them? Yeah.
Fall downs bring misfortune in the short term, and fallen devotees both struggle with recurring bad habits and lose their taste for devotional life. But the long term effects are auspicious because the devotional service they perform remains an eternal asset.
Yeah, that is never, as Krishna says, Svalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate matu. That is never lost. So little bit, whatever devotional service they did in the company of devotees will remain with them. Gradually they will come back. Yeah. Persons?
Persons just beginning to keep company with devotees may take up spiritual life, bhajana kriya, but until they commit themselves to the rules and regulations, they cannot be considered sadhakas, true practitioners. They remain simply believers.
It's not enough to know what is the right thing to do. We have to commit to the right thing. Then only we are sadhakas. If somebody says, I have read Bhagavad Gita, I know it, I know Bhagavatam, I know even quoting shlokas also, but okay, after that, what are you doing in your life? Are you committing something to Guru? Then only we become sadhakas. Yeah, a commitment through initiation, then the sadhana bhakti begins. That's a serious commitment. Then we grow by following rules, regulations, everything. So you got an idea now how to properly associate with devotees, advanced devotees, and the difference between Madhyamadikari, Uttamadikari. You understood the difference. So Prahlada Maharaj was very blessed and fortunate to get association of Narada Muni, who was a very, very advanced Mahabhagavat devotee. Even while he was in the womb of his mother, by hearing from him, his love for Krishna awakened very powerfully. And for us, Srila Prabhupada and Prabhupada disciples, and the movement is now continuing and expanding very powerfully. One very last thing I wanted to say, if any of you, because of reading in internet, you had some doubt about some particular guru or sannyasi, some information you read, many times you keep it with you and you are afraid to ask anybody. If you ask somebody, they will say, hey, you are a faithless one. How do you how do you doubt such a great soul? They may say. And if you don't ask, it's like a radioactive element inside your mind. It's like a chain reaction. It keeps going on and on. So somebody may say, why did you go and see this? Why did you see that? And so it is always good for you to find out, ask 2, 3, 4 different senior devotees. Somebody may not know, but somebody may be able to give you clarification. Because unless you ask and clear up that cloud of doubt, you cannot peacefully progress in spiritual life. That will remain like a demon always with you. So one has to be very clear. And also because now I don't want to mention any particular name, that there are people who are like chronic offenders. They make a small mole into a mountain. And they make big, big stories about small things which are insignificant. Just like, for example, in the West, for example, a child says, I'll take you to cops. If you speak this or if you do that, they make a small thing into big thing sometimes. So, and because of that, the natural love cannot develop between the parents and the child because of making small things into big. Because in our, therefore, what is considered inappropriate, what is considered appropriate. So, like for example, showing affection to a child by patting a child or giving prasad, it's not inappropriate, correct, no? But doing something wrong with a child is by bad touch, we say nowadays, correct, no? In the same manner, nowadays across the globe, because of the internet culture, there are many small things made into very big, which is creating doubts, because there are a category of people who want to prove the guru system to be wrong. So they want to blaspheme about everybody uh, with no proper information. So because of that, you are likely, because you are all in touch with the internet world, you may come across many things. So this is a deadly thing for your spiritual life, because if you don't know the correct information, which is oftentimes not available for a person at this level, at leadership level, many a times clarifications we get, we ask, find out more details about it. And neither can you surrender to a person on whom you have no faith. Uh, Nor can you get rid of the doubt by your own efforts. It's not possible. Therefore, it is best for you to clarify. Um, if any of you write to me for any doubts, I can always send back a reply to you with clarification of any particular personality, if you have any doubts about the personality. But at the same time, uh, what we talk today, associating with advanced devotees, it's only possible when we have a very staunch faith in them. Just like a child having an innocent and pure faith in mother and father, that kind of faith, without cultivating that type of natural and spontaneous faith. So faith in Krishna is a little far away thing. Faith in advanced devotee should be there. If anybody tells you anything wrong about somebody on whom you have faith, you can always write to me and I'll clarify whether what they are saying is true or not. Or you can ask others also. There are so many other seniors, Gauranga Prabhu, then other Maharajas you can check. But unfortunately, some people, when you raise this subject, they will not reply at all, some people. Some people don't reply at all. So you don't get any reply. It's like a stone thrown in a well. You don't know what happened. But I reply always. Whenever people ask, actually, I always allow people to honestly ask and learn, rather than to just bury it or try to artificially forget it. Why? Because it's good ultimately. Like Arjuna tells Krishna that in a Madhusudana, destroy the demon of doubt. Get the doubt demon destroyed so that you can confidently make progress. Don't feel ashamed to ask. Therefore, you should have trust in somebody in whose presence you don't find fear to express your doubts and be clear. One should not fear. Like one devotee was telling Prabhu, I have faith in Krishna, but not in Chaitanya so much. Whether Chaitanya is really God, I'm little doubtful. Then I sent the Chaitanya Upanishad. And after seeing that, the devotee was amazed. Oh, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written a commentary to that. Chaitanya Upanishad from Atharva Veda. And there are also many other quotes also, yeah. I have a very big article, 20-25 pages article about Lord Chaitanya and his supremacy. So, one should always ask and get doubts clarified. Whatever is lingering in your mind as doubts, do not allow them, because they are blocking your progress. If you want to really progress swiftly, for example, there is a V road leading to Mumbai. One goes to Mumbai, one you don't know where it goes, Panvel or I don't know, Kopoli or somewhere it will go. Now, when you are going in this road early morning, 5 o'clock, practically no one in the road, your car will be fast or slow? Very slow. And then you will find some chai ka dukan. There is one old man sitting reading newspaper. You go to him and ask him, is it the road to Bombay? He said, oh, you want to go to Bombay? You take a U-turn and go back. And there will be a V road. The other road, that will take you straight to Bombay. He tells you, when you come, you will take your car and swiftly go back. And then when you take the road, now you will be fast or slow? You will be super fast, because you know this is the road now. It's confirmed now. So once things are very clear for you, you can progress very fast. Otherwise, lingering doubts, even in Krishna supremacy, if somebody has doubts, there are many, many articles. Like one boy was stuck up in spiritual life. He told me, Prabhu, one doubt I'm afraid to ask. See, Krishna only came. Krishna is junior, Rama is senior. No, Rama came in Satyayug. Krishna came in Dwapara Yuga. Then why is ISKCON making Krishna as superior? Then I showed him that famous verse, Arirada Krishnam Acharat Tapabuttamam. Put the word Acharat, A-C-A-R-A-T and T-A-P-A. You put immediately, you will get this verse in Prithu Maharaj section. The Prabhupada says, some fools think that Krishna worship started only recently in Dwapara Yuga. They do not know. They only think only 5,000 years ago Krishna worship started. Even Prithu Maharaj was going to a temple of Krishna. Ambarish Maharaj was going to a temple of Krishna in Satyayuga also. What does that mean? That means from dawn of creation, Krishna worship has been there. When I showed this, the boy said, "Oh, it's like a big stone removed from my head." He said, now I am convinced Krishna was Adi Purusha. He has been there since the beginning. So let us get our doubts clarified and progress swiftly. And also, we should respect senior devotees. We should not be critical towards them. We should not offend them. At the same time, whatever nonsense somebody in the name of being senior has done, we cannot just accept it. Somebody has done child abuse, or somebody has done woman abuse. We can't say, oh, they are senior, just don't be critical. No, you should not go around talking about it. But you have the right to ask somebody about it and get your doubts clarified. And how should you look at a senior who has fallen from his position? We can actually think like this: oh, that fellow is undergoing a setback in spiritual life, and it is between him and Krishna. Correct, no? That particular jiva has made so much progress now. In that progress state, my Guru Maharaj was once telling, he has made 95% progress now. From 95, he is coming to 90. You have made 5% progress, you will come to 0. Correct, no? If you are unnecessarily critical about great souls. So our quota is, our amount is very small. So we don't go around talking to people about them. But if you're really sincere, you have the right to go to your senior devotee and ask, so and so has fallen, how do we see it? And okay, some good lessons you can learn from there, like what not to do. The notes, and then Krishna, please protect me. He's such a great personality. I am very small. If he can fall, I can fall anytime. Without your shelter and protection, I can't be saved. This is the mood in which we should see those things. Not that we go around talking to people and then it's like taking a kuladi and hitting your own feet. It's craziness. So we have to, therefore, I openly told you that you have the right to find out about somebody in case you want to take shelter of some guru. You are doubtful about their stature. You have the right to ask questions. At the same time, simply being critical, being ridiculing, and rumor mongering or offending, that will choke our spiritual progress. Then it becomes hatimata aparad, correct, no? Then we cannot, it's like elephant offense, mad elephant offense. That we should avoid. And let us avoid that kind of critical eye and envious eye towards the great souls. And let us learn to clear it up. So, and clear our doubts, so we can advance very nicely. So this section of this book, Shuddha Bhakti Chidamani, I felt is very, very helpful, especially for many of us who are in a growing stage on how to take advantage of association. So I'll be here for another 10 minutes. If anybody want to personally ask me questions, you can ask. But others are very hungry now for prasad, they can carry on. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.